Good evening, everybody. Good evening. I hope you have a pleasant Tuesday so far. All right. Good evening. My name is 𝗬𝗂𝘂𝘁𝗵 from Reason from Ashes. Now, today is a little bit special for me. It marks the 100th day of my reflection and transformation journey, which actually took place beginning from 1st of December last year. Now, if you have been following of some of my, postings and all that, you realize that, as I say, I do not want to fall into the 1st of January syndrome or the New Year syndrome, where people start making resolutions only in New Year or 1st of January on itself. Nothing wrong about that, don't get me wrong, but I decided to do it way earlier than 1st of January because I don't want to follow that crowd, okay? So I decided to do it on 1st of December itself last year. So originally it was meant to be a 60-day transformation challenge. It's actually for me to build better habits, for myself and to break some old ones. I'll give you some old ones which I've broken and to replace with some new ones, okay? The first habit that I successfully broke throughout this 100 days was, even in the 60 days, I managed to get up early, okay? At 6 a.m. sharp, okay? At 6 a.m. sharp, I wake up. Previously, I would sleep until sometimes 8 or 9 a.m. All right, okay, most of the time. But now through this transformation, there are times that I can even get up and wake up, okay, without even waiting for the alarm to ring at 6 a.m. Okay, and I was a bit somewhat impressed with myself. And at the same time, I also do my personal devotion or even quiet time. Okay, that's between my time and my Jesus lah. Okay. So I do it as a not just for holiness sake and all that, but it's really that's the time when I can speak and have quiet time with my personal savior. All right, so that's some of the and I find myself growing deeper in my biblical knowledge, not just knowledge sake, but to also experience God's presence with me. All right, then upon the 60 days, I had an itchy butt, okay? I was a bit itchy. So I thought, why not extend it to 90 days? Because you see, I read somewhere, okay, that it takes averagely 60 days to form a habit. And it takes another 30 days to, integrate it and ensure to stabilize it, all right? So what was meant to be a 60-day transform, okay, or actually change to become 90 days. And upon that end of 90 days, which was 10 days ago, I decided to go further a bit. I said, why not go to 100? And at this stage, I realized that within this 100 days, I actually managed to not just to integrate, but I started seeing some very, very clear transformation within me. Okay. Now, over this past 100 days, I've been writing and reflecting about things such as responsibility, stewardship, preparedness and clarity, and even momentum. Now, some readers told me that, what has it got to do with financial or even I will reveal this very, very clearly. Okay, now, these are, first of all, my personal reflection, and I see there are changes in me, and that changes only doesn't just happen outside of me, but inside. Because in my Reason from Ashes preview, I always share this. Changes within will be reflected from the changes that we see from outside. All right. So I decided to change myself first, and I really witnessed a lot of changes, positive changes especially, and even things that I find challenging previously. I find that I can even manage and overcome them now. All right. Of course, through all these reflections, one truth kept appearing again and again. All right. So the core truth that I want to share with you is this: most crises do not appear and do not begin as crises. They begin as something that we postpone. It could be a health signal that we ignore. Health signal could be, a little bit of chest murmuring, haven't been chest pain yet and all that, right? And then even a financial structure that we assume is probably fine. Okay, it could be that we assume our savings is fine, our EPF savings is fine, our investments are fine, without actually keeping track with it, all right? And see whether some of you who believe in retirement, whether we are on track of retirement or not, all right? and even for the savings, for our financial build-up for our future, all right? And then it could also be a decision that we promise ourselves we'll make someday. Recognize this word? Someday, later, all right? Now, think about it. I don't mean to judge any one of us, but even I myself, I find myself being a culprit of some of this delayed decisions. Because you see, life rarely collapses overnight. I repeat, life rarely collapses overnight. More often, it erodes quietly in the background while we remain busy sometimes, okay? While we remain busy with everyday routines. The word busy sometimes can actually kill off our momentum. And the real tragedy is that not the problem appears. The real tragedy is that many of these signals were actually visible earlier. It's just that we either simply didn't pause long enough to look at it, or we choose to ignore it, push it aside. So, what has this 100 days done for me? Well, I will share with you this, okay? This 100 days reminded me of something which I've believed for a very long time. You see, clarity is not pessimism. Clarity is responsibility, especially towards myself and towards the people that I care for. You see, to be able to see clearly in life is not just to expect the worst, all right? It is to honor the responsibilities we carry in relation to our health, in relation to our families, our loved ones, in relation to our decisions, and even our future. Because preparedness is nothing about fear. It's about stewardship. And stewardship is the quiet discipline of asking those questions, especially the difficult questions which we have been dodging and evading before life forces them upon us. Questions like, is my financial foundation actually strong, or am I just assuming? By the way, do you know what the word assume means? Assume, I read it from another book, it says this, assume means, okay, taking an S out of you and me. ASS out of you and me, ME, all right? So don't just assume, all right? Really dig deep and find out. And also, the next question is, if something unexpected happens tomorrow, would my family, my loved ones, be able to face this with clarity, or would they be marred in confusion? The third question, am I building real structure in my life, or am I simply moving from one income cycle to the next? That means we're just jumping around, moving balls, yeah? And these are not comfortable questions. But if we get to ask them to ourselves, these are responsible ones. So over the years, something interesting started to happen whenever I ask people these questions. Many responsible adults would pause for a moment and they'll say something like this: I've actually never looked at my life that way before. And that's when I realized something important. Most people are not irresponsible. Yes, contrary to popular belief, most people are not irresponsible. They simply don't have a framework to see these blind spots early. Okay, so today, day 100 is not really just about celebrating an achievement or a milestone for me. It's more about recognizing the milestones to where I have been. Because transformation is not just a moment. It is an ongoing process. Okay. Now the first 100 days was about reflection, integration, and all that. The next chapter is about anchoring those lessons into how I actually live. So perhaps the most honest question today is not, what have I achieved in these 100 days? But rather, for me, I will ask myself, and I also share with you, perhaps you can ask yourself this: what's the truth that I have finally become willing to see and face, and also going to take action to change their circumstance. All right? Now, over the past few months, some people even asked me a deeper question. They asked me, if we want to gain this kind of clarity about life, about finances, about responsibility, where do we even begin with? Now, you see on YouTube or even on social media, there are plentiful of information and platforms, and a lot of those are actually very good piece of information. However, that question is also the actual reason why I started creating something which is called Reason from Ashes, or RFA. It's simply a framework that I've developed in helping people to think more clearly about the risk, the blind spots, and even their responsibilities that we carry, most of us carry in our life, especially be it financially, personally, and even structurally. Tomorrow evening, I'll be hosting a free Reason from Ashes preview session where we can explore some of these ideas together, not as a financial advice, but as a space for reflection and clarity. If this message resonates with you, you're more than welcome to join. Just drop me a message or comment clarity, and I'll share the details. Right? I'll share the details in the caption later on. And for those who have been following my 100-day journey with me, I would like to say from the bottom of my heart, a big thank you. Thank you for supporting me in this journey. Thank you for providing your feedback and all that. Thank you very much. But the real work that begins now. Have a meaningful, truthful Tuesday. All right? So I just wish you for the remainder of the Tuesday evening that you reflect, just reflect. And I hope to see you by tomorrow. Thank you very much. Thank you.